We do have microphones on the side and then in the middle. If you have a question for Alex, just raise your hand. Starting with Dan on the left.
Hi, Alex.
Good morning.
Just give a naval update or update on Chris Sale.
He's good to go. He's our game one starter. I think everything works out, for a reason, and game 5 happened, and he gets a few more off days so he can take care of his belly button, and he'll be ready to go.
How is the belly button?
I stand in front. Yeah.
Smart man.
So he's ready to go. Excited to pitch game 1. He's been our guy since day 1. Obviously, the other guys doing an outstanding job, but him pitching that game, it's just something we map it out through September. This was the plan all along, and happy that he's going to be able to go out there and perform.
Pete, back left.
Hey, Alex. What do you remember? What do you recall about playing with Dave Roberts in 2002, and just in general your time with the Dodgers?
I remember a lot, but I still remember in 04 when he got traded. We were in San Diego at that time. We had the best team in the National League West, and he got called into the office by Jim Tracy, and they told him he got traded to the Red Sox. He was down, upset. It was a good group. We felt that we had something special going on. And I still remember I told him, hey man, you go into a great baseball city, you never know what can happen, so just enjoy the ride. He came here, he stole that base, and that night I texted him. I was like, right after he stole second base, I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen here, but if this happens, you're gonna become a hero. And he is here in the city. Great guy, great family guy, a friend of mine. I've been pulling for him for a while. He's done an outstanding job with an outstanding organization, and I'm very proud that he's here in the World Series.
Okay, Chad.
Alex, you and players always talk about chasing a ring. What do you do with yours?
The 07 one, Camila has it. Last year is somewhere in my apartment. I don't know. I'm more about memories and the journey and conversations and just the experience. I'm not a big watch or rings or necklaces guy. I'm very simple, and that's what I remember. I got a closet here with like Astros jerseys and towels and all that. Sometimes I mess around with Nooney and Bogey, call them into the office and show them, like, hey, look what happened last year. But besides that, I don't, obviously, 07 was special, last year was special, but I think this year, if we can win 4 more, then that'll be like the best out of the 3.
Okay, on the left.
Alex, ¿qué nos puedes decir poder participar ahora en una serie mundial, esta vez como manager? También, ¿qué nos puedes decir de los Dodgers?
La organización de los Dodgers significa mucho para mí. Me draftearon en 1996 y me dieron la oportunidad de ser pelotero profesional y llegar a las Grandes Ligas. Aprecio mucho esa ciudad, Dodger Stadium, Mr. Scully, Jaime Jarrín, todas esas personas son personas muy importantes en mi vida. En cuanto a llegar a la Serie Mundial como dirigente, es sumamente diferente que como jugador y coach de la banca. Es un momento sumamente especial, bien gratificante, y poder liderar a estos muchachos lo hace mucho mejor. Es un grupo tremendo, humilde, trabajador y con mucha hambre. Y loco que llegue el martes para que comience esto.
Ian on the left. All right.
You obviously faced the Dodgers in the World Series last year too. Just your thoughts on what makes them so tough, and just your overall thoughts on this matchup coming up.
They do a good job mixing and matching. They got two different lineups against lefties, against righties. The rotation is pretty solid. They got a great closer. They do a lot of things, running the bases and all that. It's a tough team, relentless. They got a few guys there. JT has been amazing at third base and in the clubhouse. Chase, I know he's not active, but I don't know what's going to happen in the World Series, but he's one of them leaders, and he's great in the clubhouse for those guys. Manny Machado's back. We're going to see him again. It's a complete team. They play with energy too. Dodger Stadium will be loud, and the weather will be great. Yeah, and it should be a great World Series.
How are you going to line up pitching wise after Chris Gable?
We'll talk about it today. Yeah.
Rob on the left.
What's the difference between playing in LA and playing in Boston?
The weather, traffic. I don't know. I enjoy playing in LA. That was great. They gave me a chance to be a professional baseball player and then to become a big leaguer. We went from an okay team to getting this closer that he kept the fans. Instead of leaving in the 7th inning, they stayed all the way through the 9th inning because they wanted to see Eric pitch in 03 and in 04. I don't know. At that time, I didn't pay too much attention about media and the fans. I was just happy that I was in the big leagues and being able to perform. Last year, that place was loud, very loud, and I think that was the difference between now and when I played there. I don't want to say they were laid back, the fans, because then when I get there, it might hunt me. But last year, that was a fun atmosphere. Game 1 and 2, and then game 6 and 7, that was great. So I don't know. It's a great sports town, just like here. Thursday, the Lakers play at night, so whoever want to invite me to see the Lakers, that'll be great. It's very similar here, but it's a bigger city. This is you got the Patriots and the Celtics and us and the Revolution and everything, and it's small over there. They got their college teams and the Lakers and the Clippers and all this stuff, but it's so spread out that sometimes, it's not as the madness that we live here. That's probably the difference.
Alex, how much have you paid attention to their resiliency? Ian mentioned it a little while ago, but the fact they were down 0-1 and 1-2 to the Brewers and came back, and how much do you think that their run last year to the World Series and Game 7 factors into that?
No, I lived it firsthand last year. That Game 5 was crazy. Yeah. They were up, they were down, they were up again, I think, whatever. And then Game 6 happened and they beat the Houston Astros. And then Game 7, the Astros ended up winning. So I saw it firsthand. They don't stop playing. When you get to this level, when you are the last two teams standing, you from pitch 1 all the way to the last pitch of the game, you're gonna keep pushing and putting good at bats and executing pitches and playing good defense. So we expect that out of them. They're gonna play the whole game. They were behind. They were, throughout the season, they were 10 games back or something like that, with a lot of good teams ahead of them. And I still remember DR saying something like, "We will win the West" at one point, and they were 10 games back. And I read it, I was like, DR is crazy. But that's who he is. He's very positive. He has a great pulse of that clubhouse and the team. Their ownership group and the front office, they do everything possible to get better. not only on the field but off the field. Everybody knows about their analytic team and all the money they spend in that area. They're prepared. They will be prepared, and it's going to be a challenge for us.
Josh on the left.
Alex, I know you guys were waiting until the last minute last night to find out which team you would actually play. Now, knowing it's the Dodgers and they had a 7-game series here against the Brewers, is that any advantage to you guys that you've had a little bit of extra time and to kind of see it unfold as opposed to them sort of jumping right in on Tuesday night?
I don't know. I sometimes, like in 07, the Rockies had, 10 games in between, 10 days in between the World Series, and we had to fight all the way until the end against the Indians, and then that happened. One thing for sure, we will be prepared. I think that the off days will benefit us physically, especially in the bullpen. So that rest is going to help them out. And I don't think Dave is complaining. You know, they're here. They knew that it was going to be a tough series against the Brewers. They had to play 163 to win the division and all that stuff. So I think at this time it really doesn't matter how you get here. They'll be ready for Tuesday. We will too, and we'll see what happens.
Sean right in the middle.
Alex, during the season, there were times where you had as many as 4 lefties in your rotation. They could do that too with Kershaw, Hill, Wood, Ryu. How unusual is it to have 2 teams in the World Series so lefty heavy with their pitching staff, and what does that do, do you think, to matchups throughout the series, where obviously you're both teams mix and match and have some platoon positions?
Very unusual. Around the league, you think about staffs, it's always either 4 righties and 1 lefty, 3 righties, 2 lefties, but nothing like this. So, what's that saying? You know, if you're lefty and you have a heartbeat, you get a chance to pitch in the big leagues. But these lefties are special, all of them, and it's going to be a challenge. There's some of them that they're tough on lefties. There's others that they're tougher on righties. So there's going to be a lot of meetings, a lot of thinking, and mixing and matching. It doesn't mean that because they're throwing all the lefties, our lefties are not going to play. Same way with them. It'll be interesting. But at the same time, they got righties in the bullpen. We do the same thing. So it'll be fun to mix and match with them. I hate managing the other team, but at this time you have to think about it. And you have the 3 games or 2 games at least in the National League, so that makes it more interesting. But like I said, we'll go with our best lineup, regardless of who's on the mound, lefty, righty. We can have platoon advantages or not, depending on who's on the mound. But like I said, we're very comfortable with whoever's out there. We feel that we can score runs against anybody.
Alex, ¿algún comentario que nos pueda hacer del macheo de estos 2 equipos? ¿Cómo los comparas? Y me gustaría que también comentes sobre Kike Hernández. Me parece que es lo más similar a Alex Bregman en Houston, ¿no? Porque es el alma del equipo en el clubhouse.
Bueno, Kike es tremendo, Enrique es tremendo pelotero, bastante versátil, ha hecho un trabajo excelente jugando segunda, jugando en el outfield y haciendo todo lo posible por no solamente jugar buena defensa, sino ofensivamente hablando fue tremendo año para él. En cuanto a los equipos, somos bastante parecidos en cuestión de la rotación, muchos zurdos que van a lanzar en esta temporada, en esta serie, y después cuando vamos al bullpen son muchos derechos. Somos bastante dinámicos en la ofensiva, podemos marchar con la posición con cualquier jugador, con zurdos derechos, así que debe ser tremenda serie y bien interesante en cuanto a las estrategias.
Ron, back left.
How much has your view of how to use postseason bullpens changed just in the last few years, starting with the way Madden and Tito used it 2 years ago, and then watching last year evolve in this year. And when you're watching as a fan at home, do you think it's more or less interesting, the game, the way it's being played now in the postseason?
It's more interesting. It is. There's so much information now that you can actually exploit weaknesses on the team, not only relying on starters or your usual setup guy or your closer. Somebody, the last few years figure out that there's a lot of off days in the playoffs that you can actually use your starters as relievers, or you can go with the relievers for multiple innings, and it's fun. It's fun as a baseball fan. I forget the manager thing, but just watching Rick Porcello come in the eighth and throw four seamers and curveballs and the emotion he showed, that was fun to watch. And then to see Nate throwing 102 against Bregman, that was cool. And I know the fans, they love that. And you only have 25 guys. You go from 35 in September and you're using everybody, and all of a sudden, oh, I only have 25 and we have to maximize the roster. And I think that's the only way you can do it. And these guys, they work so hard throughout the season, and in the situation we were in, we were able to slow them down in September, thinking about October. And that's why Rick is able to do the things that he's doing. Chris and David and Nate, Barnes, all those guys, because we had a good plan coming into October because of the lead. We were able to rest them, and now you can see them performing at a high level when it matters.
2 years ago change your thinking watching them?
No.
Okay, Allison, back right.
Two questions. First, you said that this one would be more special than 07 or 17. Why?
Because I'm the manager.
I mean, how different does that feel? Like in terms of relative to being bench coach, or being a
Well, I was a utility guy,
yeah.
and I was the bench coach, and now I'm the manager. Very simple, Alex. I mean, there's no much explanation there.
Fair enough. Secondly, where are you guys in terms of game planning for the Dodgers? How, at what, was there a point during the, maybe, after you guys beat Houston where you were like, okay, let's focus on one of these teams, or how have you approached this?
I mean, first time I watched back-to-back games of the National League in a while, but and we had our guys following both teams for a while, since the beginning of the playoffs. So we'll meet today after the workout, start going over them. Tomorrow we'll have our advanced meeting with all the coaches and then with the players. And then if there's something that we see on film or video or getting information from scouts, then we add it up on Tuesday and we'll be ready. But I think we have plenty of information. Just like in the previous series, CB had a lot of saying about the pitching staff of the Astros, and we got our hitting coach. He's very familiar with the Dodgers, so we'll take advantage of that. And I had a pretty good idea about them too, for what they did last year in the World Series, and obviously our scouts, they have a huge input of what we're gonna do.
Jen, back.
Yeah, just yesterday you said that you were going to be talking to Stephen Wright to sort of see where he was at. Did you get a chance to talk with him, or?
He's going to throw a simulated game today. Probably do some PFPs, and we'll see how he reacts tomorrow. And we still got till Tuesday to make decisions. So he put himself in this conversation now. So he needs to show us that he's healthy. And not only today, but see how he reacts tomorrow.
Dan on the left.
Alex, you've kind of talked a little bit about it, but having played for both, just a thought of the history, the tradition, the ballparks of these two teams.
I said last year was kind of perfect for the Houston Astros. to clinch at Fenway Park, to beat the Yankees, and then to win the World Series at Dodger Stadium. That was pretty cool. You know, just think about all those scenarios. You know, all those ballparks and the franchises. That was cool. This year we're in the same path. You know, Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium, the World Champs, and then playing the Dodgers. That's I mean, there's a lot of history in between these two franchises. Like I said before, you know, it's a special organization for me and my family. They give me a shot to play at the big league level. That's where I saw my daughter growing up, you know, through Pasadena and Burbank and Glendale. Although she doesn't remember that, but yeah, it was cool to have, you know, all those places. Mr. Scully, he means a lot to me. Jaime Jarrin, he actually called me yesterday before the game, and like, looking forward to see you this week. I said, well, good luck. And now he'll be here, and to manage against Dave is going to be special. He really cares. He's very passionate, and nobody thought that he was going to be the guy a few years ago. And since he's been there, you know, they have dominated that division, and you can see the passion, the emotion. It'll be great. It's going to be great. Dodger Stadium. There's going to be what, 55,000 people there. Although it's a little bit different than when I play there, but it's still a special place. It's a fun place to play. I'm looking forward to be back over there.
Bill, front left.
Alex, just based on what you guys just went through in the Houston series with the pitching staff and having to extend some guys in the bullpen, do you feel like 11 pitchers are enough for the World Series, or are you inclined to maybe add one more?
No, with us, it's not about the pitching staff. It's what we do offensively and how aggressive we are in the catcher spot. So most likely we'll stay the same. We still have to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it tonight after the workout with Dave and the front office and the analytical staff. But most likely it'll be kind of like the same roster as far as like 11 pitchers.
Back left.
Alex, in terms of Mookie maybe playing second base, is the fact that there aren't as many conventional double plays with the shifting have any kind of role in it, that he might be less likely to, you know, be in harm's way or anything?
Maybe, you know, the thing is that in the National League they bunt, you know, and they have advanced runners, and we gotta talk about all this stuff, you know. Today he's gonna turn a few little plays, but like I said, there's a chance, but it's not like he will, you know. But we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared. If one day I feel like, yeah, that makes sense, we'll do it. But we got some capable guys to play second, and we got some matchups that we have to take a look at. But we don't throw too many ground balls. It's either strikeouts or fly balls. So in that sense, well, that's something we'll take into consideration.
I also wanted to ask, how do you think Devers has responded to, you know, not being in the lineup every day sometimes, kind of having to earn his playing time, and it seems like he's kind of bounced back over the last 10 days or so?
He bounced back when he came back from his rehab assignment. We've been talking about it. Offensively, he's been able to slow the game down. He's not chasing pitches up in the zone. Game 1 of the series, I thought it was a bad matchup, and then he played in Game 5 against him because of the quality of his at-bats. He's been able to lay off pitches down in the zone, up in the zone. He's going the other way, and he's still 21, a couple more days. At that age, to play at this level, the way he's doing it is impressive. We saw it last year, and you know, his season maybe up and down, but at the end he's 21, so he learned a lot throughout. And you know, when I tell him you're not starting today, he's like, okay, I'm ready. You know, he knows that there's going to be an at bat probably later on in the game that he's going to be huge for us. And like in the championship series, he's going to be a very important part of what we do here in the World Series.
Jimmy on the left.
Alex, we've heard you talk about it's going to take 25 guys to win the series, and when you're putting together your roster, do you ever think about what Dave did in 2004 and look at a scenario and say, if things break this way, this guy can be a hero, a World Series hero for the rest of his life?
Yes. I mean, Blake hasn't played, and he's still a huge part of what we're trying to accomplish. He can pinch run, he can pinch hit, he can come and catch and play first or play the outfield. Everybody has a role. It all depends where the games go, but I feel like every night somebody can step up and somebody can be that guy. In my case, I only have one World Series at bat. It was a sac bunt, and Mikey then stole third, and then he scored on a sac fly. I mean, I feel great, like I didn't take one swing in the World Series, and I feel like I accomplished. I was part of the equation. Bobby Kilty, I think he only took one swing in the World Series in 2007. It was a home run. So they know, they understand. Everybody's all in. Everybody has a role, regardless if you're starting or if you don't even play. You have to pay attention to the game. Even the guys that are not on the roster, Brian Johnson and Pointer they were looking at some stuff. Take a look at that guy, check the runner if he's relaying signs. If we fall into patterns, so everybody's on board, everybody's all in, and everybody knows that when they have a chance, they got a role and they can contribute.
Alex, hablaste ya de lo agradecido que estás de la organización de los Dodgers. Quiero que me comentes si del tiempo que jugaste con los Dodgers en la Liga Nacional hay algo que aprendiste que lo puedes aplicar ahora como dirigente.
No, yo creo que Ron aquí, él dirigió la Liga Nacional, así que tenemos una buena idea de lo que se hace. Ahora es sumamente diferente como se jugaba antes. No se toca con tanta frecuencia, no se corre con tanta frecuencia. Es octubre, cuando uno tiene la oportunidad de bater por el pitcher porque ahí hay tráfico en las bases, uno lo va a hacer, así que lo que hay que estar pendiente es del double switch, no pensarlo bien y saber cuándo hacerlo, pero fuera de eso, sí, él es el mismo béisbol.
¿Algún comentario del hecho de que se enfrentan dos organizaciones tan históricas?
No, es bueno para el béisbol, ¿sabes? Uno en el este, otro en el oeste, y franquicias que han hecho mucho en el deporte. Debe ser sumamente interesante para el fanático.
Take one last one from Bob.
Alex, now that you're in the World Series, you have to take more precautions than ever as far as regarding signing, stealing, and changing things up. I think the Dodgers had 8 advanced scouts watching you guys in the ALCS.
We always did. We always did. Yeah. We'll play defense again.
Okay.